Hello, hello. How are you doing? Whew. How is life treating you? How is everything? How is everything? We have come again to the session of Let Us Cook and Discuss. Session of Let Us Cook and Discuss. So today I will be cooking ramen noodles, okay? Ramen noodles. You don't necessarily have to get this particular kind of noodles for this recipe, okay? So you can get another kind of noodles for this recipe, but I would encourage you to try it. Like if you don't like these noodles, you know, like this that whatever noodles it is, this one is chicken, you can try it with beef noodles, you can try it with whatever noodles, okay? But if you don't like noodles, hey, if you try this method, you are definitely gonna love it. Well, I guess you're gonna like it. Should I put it that way? All right, so let me show you. Let's begin. All right, how is today going? So today we are going to be discussing on words, okay? Words like words. That's what we're going to be discussing on. All right, so let me get started here. And as you can see, let me raise this up. So like I said earlier, I had actually broken up some of the noodles, but I stopped because I remember I was going to show it. So you can either cook it this way, or you can decide to break it into two. All right, so you can either cook it that way or decide to break it into two. And I'd already like put water in the noodles, and what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to put these noodles in one session to be cooking. So I'm not going to be cooking it together at all. So it's going to be in one session while I turn on the stove right there to be cooking. And here I get my pot in order to begin the prep for it. So for the preparation, you can use any oil. Welcome to my channel. Mommy, welcome to my channel. Welcome to everybody. Welcome to this platform. God bless you. Did I say channel? I mean platform. Welcome to this platform. God bless you. So you can use any oil of your choice, but this is avocado oil. So I'll be using the avocado oil as a prep. So what I'll do is pour in the avocado oil first. I'm not going to be using a lot of oil because, you know, first, number one, I don't like to use a lot of oil when I cook. And secondly, we are cooking noodles and we don't want it oily. So just use enough oil and make sure it's all spread in the bottom of your pot. So something like this, after you spread it, is fine. And we'll go ahead and put that aside. Get your tomato sauce. Remember, our noodles is cooking right here and we are doing our other preparation here. So get your tomato sauce. It depends on how many noodles you are cooking. I'm cooking about 6 noodles and 1 of the tomato sauce is enough for me. You don't need a very big one. I just got a small one, which is perfectly fine for me. Okay. So according to the quantity of those you are cooking for, you are going to determine that. All right. So as you can see, the tomato sauce is in the pot. And at this point, I will go ahead and turn on my stove. And I'll let that begin to do its thing right there. Why this cannot stand? Okay. There you go. For my spoon. So let's come back to our sauce at this time. While this is here, I'll go ahead and put some spices in the sauce. Before it starts splashing around, it's best you go ahead and add your spices. Whatever spice you want to use. I'm using ground ginger. Okay, I'm using garlic powder. As always, I'm using my nutritional yeast. A little bit of curry. Just a little bit. And depending on how you want your noodles, if you want it spicy, you can go ahead and blend what is called atarodo in Nigeria, and I think it's called scotch pepper right here. But I have a crushed red pepper. If you have crushed red pepper, you can make use of your crushed red pepper as well. So just for according to what you want. If you want it spicy or you don't want it spicy. I don't really want this food to be very spicy, okay? So at the same time, we are checking on our noodles. Because you don't want your noodles to burn. So I didn't put like a lot of water in there. So you want to make sure that your noodles is cooking initially. I'll go ahead and add a little more water to my noodles. Just enough to, you know, cook it. And to these noodles right here, you are not going to add any salt. Don't add salt. Don't add any spices to it at all. Just cook the noodles as blank as it is. Like I told you, you are not using a lot of water, so you want to make sure that the little water you put there is enough for the noodles. Alright, so don't make it soft, so that don't make it, you know, like all those like very soft noodles, because you don't want to mess up this dish. Alright, so I'll go ahead and have my noodles covered while the noodles is cooking. So go ahead and go back after checking your noodles. If you have onions, you can decide to, you know, what's it called, cut onions into it. But you can also use onion powder. So I'll be going ahead to use onion powder at this time. I prefer the seasoned salt compared to the white salt. That's just my own preference. Okay, so I'll be using the seasoned salt. So if you don't have to use seasoned salt, you can decide to use the white salt. And I don't really use the spices that comes with the noodles because of cancer. They said it causes cancer. I don't know how 100% that is true, but they said the spices, that when you use those noodle spices over time, it causes cancer. Not like immediately you use it, but over time, you know, it's like a build up in the body. So even when I'm cooking noodles ordinarily like this, I prefer to put my spices in there to my taste. All right, so now we got that done. We are going to allow this to cook a little bit, and I'm coming back to check on my noodles, okay, to make sure my noodles is not burning. Yeah, my noodles is coming out awesomely well, as you can see. So this is what you are aiming for. So this is what you are aiming for. All right, let me show it to you. So this is what you are aiming for. See right here. You don't want it to, it depends on how you want it. If you want to cut it, you can cut it. If you want it to dry, I mean to like draw that way, you can do it. But you don't want it to like be just anyhow where you cannot, you know, use it. So at this point, it's okay at this point, and we are just going to set that aside while we continue with the other one that we are doing earlier. So here we go. We have this at this point. So it's a little bit fried. Okay, it's a little bit fried. I'll go ahead and add your proteins, whatever you want to use for protein in there. So I'm starting with the shrimps. I'm adding my shrimps. If you have a cut of beef, go ahead and add your beef. Okay, so this beef has been cooked and cut. As you can see, it's been cut into pieces. So go ahead and pieces that. We'll get that mixed together. I have some goat's meat here and some beef too that is going to go with the noodles. So what I'm doing right here is to separate a whole goat's meat. Like if you have like fish or chicken or turkey, you don't put it in at this point, okay? But I just poured in the pieces of goat's meat because I pieces some goat's meat and I also poured it inside. So after doing that, if you have what I'm going to be using, instead of putting a little bit of red wine, I'm going to be using white wine. Okay, white wine is also good for the body, but when you are using it to cook, just make sure that you don't put a whole lot inside. So I'll be using the cover as measurement. So I pour about 3 inside. You can get this in the store as well. So that will give us a unique taste from the noodles. If you don't know about this, well, now you know. So we mix that all together, as you can see. and we allow that to fry. I will put the stove on low because I don't want it to burn while I attend to the noodles that we set aside. So let's come and take care of the noodles that we set aside earlier right here. So for the noodles, I will go ahead and make sure the water is a bit warm. Okay. So the water is a bit warm. I got my fork and now I am, rinsing it out in the water. So you know now why it makes no sense to have put spices or cook this with salt, because the preparation for it, the pre-preparation for it already has salt, and spices in them. And the reason why you have to put water in it is because you don't want it to stick together. So the water is meant to separate it. I'm putting this a little bit aside. So get your basket that you want to use to sieve. Make sure it's clean. Even though you have washed it previously, you make sure you rinse it out again, okay? Because all this dust and all that. I believe in making sure that whatever you eat is clean. I normally say that the stomach does not have a door. If you eat anything you shouldn't have eaten, or if you eat something, you cook something in an unhealthy way, you cannot, go back and say, "You stomach, open your door for me, let me take it out." You can't do that. So whatever you eat, you handle it hygienically. So we are going to pour that in the basket because we want it all out. And now I am just going to make sure I sieve out all the liquid out of it, okay? There should be no liquid in it. All right. So I'll just put that back in the pot. As you can see, the liquid I drain out because I use the water to rinse it, and that one time is very perfect. It's very fine. You don't want to rinse it again the second time because you don't want to mess up your noodles. Now let's come now to this side. So now, as you can see, our pre-preparation for the noodles is ready for it. At this point, you can go ahead if you want to use chicken, turkey. This has been cooked, so I don't need to cook anymore, and it has also been microwaved, so it's like good to go. You can even eat it like this. So I'll go ahead and put my beef at this point, and I'll go ahead and put in the goat's meat at this point, and I will have that, I will have that mixed together. The reason why I did not put the meat at the initial stage was because I don't really want it to marinate with the sauce that I put inside with the white vinegar. So at this point, it's going to be, a little bit inside, because I'm not putting it initially. Except if you want it, then you can go ahead. So I went for my noodles, and I will gradually pour in my noodles inside. Gradually pour in your noodles inside, okay? I will use the fork to work my way in, little by little. Don't put it all at once, because you don't want it to mash up, and you want to get the best out of your noodles. You just work your way through. Then I can, at this point, pour the rest. So you carefully distribute your noodles inside of the, sauce that you've made. While I'm doing this, I turned off the stove, and the reason I turned off the stove is to enable me to be able to work in my noodles, because I don't want it to get burnt. You can also put your stove in low, but I leave you to determine that. But for me, I turned off my stove while I'm working this inside, okay? So after that, you've ensured you've worked it in and everything is well covered with your sauce. We are just gonna, because this noodles has been cooked before, you should not forget that. So I'll just go ahead. That's why I said I put my stove on, I turned off my stove while I was doing this, because the more the heat that is going under your noodles, the more soft soon it will be. So I turn it off. Then now I put my stove in the lowest, because now I want it to steam together. Okay, so we're just going to leave it for some few, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, depending on the amount of noodles you are cooking and those you are cooking for. So you'll be able to determine you'll be able to determine the minute you should give it. But for this amount of dish that I'm cooking right here, I will just give like 2 to 3 minutes for it to steam up together. And today we're going to be discussing on words while we are waiting that 2 to 3 minutes for our noodles, and then you will see the outcome. So today we're going to be discussing on words. In Matthew 5 verse 22, it says, "But I say unto you that whoever is angry with his brother, without a curse, they shall be in danger of the judgment." Okay, and that whoever shall say unto his brother, Rakai, shall be in danger of the council. Hold on, my phone fell off the holder. Okay, shall be in danger of the council. But whoever shall say, thou fool, shall be in danger of hell. So that right there let us to know that the words of our mouth, it matters a lot. You know, the words of your mouth, it matters a lot. Words kills. Word can kill. A word can, it can go a long way. See, the Jewish teacher, they taught that the sixth commandment condemns only actual murderer, and that Jesus came and uncovered the spiritual, meaning of this commandment, which is very true, because the coming of Jesus when he came on earth the first time, was to fulfill purpose in every aspect of life. So all the right anger, like of the mother of the heart, it's for our own, it's to a person detriment. Let's just put it that way, and whenever you utter a word, it's about time. Let's check our noodles to see. It's beginning to bring out some steam. Let me see. I will not use a fork. I want to use. Let's see if I have it. You might wonder, why did I not use a fork? Why did I drop the fork? I dropped the fork because I don't want my food mashed up. So with this, I'm able to carefully undo it. It still needs to steam up together. So we are to be able to take responsibility for our action. When you say something that you shouldn't have said, and you are being told that that thing you said is wrong, or that thing you have did about that individual is wrong, as a true child of God, you are to be able to take responsibility for it. Be able to take responsibility for your action. It's easier to comprehend than being liable for internal emotions, or slip of the tongue. Some people will say some word, they will say a slip of the tongue. It's not a very good thing. It's not a very good thing. What malicious word can, slander a person. Malicious words said in hangers are words that you cannot take back. If you know that you are the one that usually slip out of tongue, words that ought not to be said, then during that period where you are unhappy or upset with someone, it is best you just hold your words. Hold your words. Don't say it. Hold it and don't say it. Not all words can be forgotten. When you utter words that you shouldn't utter, yeah, you might say I'm sorry. The person might forgive you, but the question is, even though they truly forgive you, but whenever it comes to their heart, it might be like, why did that sister say that thing to me? And you don't want your words to take somebody to hell. You don't want your words to make somebody to go and commit suicide. Some people are even bragging about it. They are bragging that, I can, if I talk to you, you will go and enter the river. Seriously. When you are such a person, those are characteristics that shows that you have not given your life to Christ yet. As Christians, we must understand that there's a battle raging between good and evil. Followers of Christ have the word of God as a weapon against evil. And you must choose your battle right. Choose your words. It's very important. Speaking the scriptures has powers over the enemy. Even whenever you are going through situations or anything that is not favorable to you at that moment, it is very, very, very good that you watch what you say into your life. Some people will say, their home don't finish, and all that. It is wrong to say those words into your heart, into your mind. It's very wrong. And besides, I was telling somebody of recent, I was telling him that when his sister said something that shouldn't be said, who knows the spirit that was walking around, you know, who knows the evil person that was around that has gone to work on that so that that statement will be fulfilled. So you really want to be very careful, because there are unseen spirits that are passing around. And when you utter negative words into somebody's life or into your life or about you, you won't know. It will begin to work. And then you begin to wonder, why am I suffering this? Why all of a sudden this is happening to me? What are those things you've said into your life that you shouldn't have said? You might want to take that to prayer as well, that God should cancel any unknown or anything you remember or know that you've said into your life that you shouldn't have said. Go ahead and put that in your prayer point, you know. And when you say things that you shouldn't say, like I said, word kills, you know. You wouldn't know when the enemy will use your word against you. When your heart harbors hatred, heart harbors things that shouldn't harbor, you will not realize when you begin to express unkind words to people. You know, you begin to battle with wrong thing. So today that you've learned this, while this dish is ready, it's now steamed together. You can hear the seasoning sound. Sometimes I just like to cook and hear that seasoning sound, man. It's kind of appealing sometimes. Anyways, so you can hear that seasoning sound. Oh Lord. When you first prepare the sauce before you pour your noodles inside, I know you might be like, maybe I can pour noodles in the pot, put my meat, put everything on top of it. This one has another kind of taste that it gives to your noodles. It's like this sweet taste, and when you put some, you know, whatever, add a little wine, whatever wine you want to use, a red wine, a white wine, you know, just find something that you can use to spice it up, okay? And that will really, really help as well. It will help. And conclusively, all right, conclusively, I want you to please confess your fault. If you have done something you shouldn't have done, you know, apologize. Apologize to whoever you have wronged. Apologize to whoever you have said things to that you shouldn't have said. Husband and wife needs to be very careful, you know, the way you say things to each other whenever you are hungry. You will not know which of your words is working against your wife and against your family. You know, wife needs to be careful. You will not know which of your words is working against your husband and against your family. Same thing goes to parents. Parent needs to be very careful. You will not know which of your words is in that period of anger, in that period that that child has done something they shouldn't do. The best thing to do is just keep quiet, or ask them to go and kneel down or something, or go to your room. You know, you don't utter words that as the child grows up, the child will begin to have trouble, will begin to face problem in life, not knowing that it's as a result of what mommy has said. If you say you love someone, you don't abuse them. If you say you love someone, you don't curse them. You know, and children, I'm calling your attention as well. Watch the words you say to your parents. I don't mind if daddy die. I don't mind if mommy die. It's not a good thing. No matter whatever they have done to you, because nobody is perfect. We all have our imperfection, you know. So no matter what anybody may have done to you or your parent has done to you, just forgive them and let it go, you know. You don't, because of that, begin to wish that I wish daddy is not alive. I wish mommy is not alive. Seriously? Do you even know maybe you are going to go before your parents, before the Lord? You know, I pray that the Lord will help us. Friends, colleagues, at work, every one of you, just make sure that wherever you find yourself, make sure you are not saying things that can endanger another person's life. And you are not saying things that can endanger your life. So just go to God and tell God to reveal to you any hidden anger, any anger that is hiding in your life, you know, that is considered, that can cause harmful language, you know, language that can harm you, language that can words that can harm others. You repent of the one that you've done before and tell the Lord to set you free, and you yourself, you and pray that God should also set whoever you have spoken wrong words to. Tell the Lord to also deliver that person if that person is already going through that curse or abuse. We are not to do that. All right. Okay, so we can see right here that the noodles is done, ready. And for those that have stayed through, it's very well appreciated. So after rinsing my plate, I went ahead to dry it because it's very important. You don't want to put your noodles in a wet plate, right? So you go ahead, and if you can get a spoon like this or something, you really want to be very careful and make sure with the noodles, okay? So please, what I want you to take home from our discussion today, our let us cook today and discuss, is that what can kill, okay? What can go a long way. You may not even remember what you say into the life of someone, but that individual will never forget it. They will never forget it, because it is something you have said, and you don't want your words to take somebody else to hellfire. All right. So thank you for taking your time to watch this, and I pray the good Lord be with you. Stay holy, stay rapturable, and ensure that in all you do, you are getting ready for the coming of the Lord. That you are getting ready for the coming of the Lord. You are very welcome to join. And here is our dish. Very quick. It doesn't take time at all. This comes out very tasteful, very nice, and very nourishing when you do your noodles like this. Thank you for watching. God bless you. Stay holy, stay rapturable, and stay clean. Watch what you say, and don't say something that can hurt you, hurt others, or damage you and damage others. And don't let your words be what will take you to hell. I remain yours in Christ. Thank you for watching, and the good Lord be with you. You are very welcome to join in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. You are very welcome to join. As you can see, that came out awesomely well. Thank you very much, and God bless you. Thank you. See you some other time. Thanks.